Two cousins came together to create a weekly podcast celebrating the excellence, intelligence, beauty, and strength of melanated women. What we created is the When We Think of Us podcast.
We catch up, spotlight melanated businesses, and discuss our experiences as melanated women, addressing topics ranging from relationships to finances, and aspiring to teach, learn, heal, and love ourselves and our communities entirely. This is When We Think of Us. What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, ShanaK.
Peace, prosperity, and abundance, y'all. It's Jenni Marie, and welcome to When We Think of Us, a women empowered podcast.
Welcome,
What's up,
welcome.
ShanaK?
Oh man, it's been a week, let me tell you. A good
Woo.
week. A good week. I did a lot of boundary setting this week. I did a lot of, just setting expectations, which would be boundary setting. And I fired my team and I put some team members on pause. And when I say that, like, I'm not in leadership, I'm just talking about in my personal life. I was working with this guy financially, and I just didn't see what I was really looking for. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do it anymore. A couple things like that. And it really, really felt good letting go. It felt really good letting go. I also started a Poshmark account.
Okay.
Overwhelming, but I got to make room for this abundance. Man, it's been a week. It's been a week. I wouldn't trade it for anything though. How are
That's
things for
interesting.
you?
Things are good. Just really quickly, though, to go back to what you were talking about, how you fired your team.
Yes.
So this is kind of like a housekeeping thing, or like just really kind of going back and evaluating what people in your life are pouring into you and what people are uh doing just the opposite, like taking away.
Yeah. So especially with when I think about the biggest part. So this financial guy, he's also a credit guru,
Mm-hmm.
self-proclaimed, however it goes, I don't know, but I have been following his work for a while. And as I deal with a couple blemishes, I mean, by definition, a couple blemishes on my credit report, I was like, hey, I just need these two things off. Here's the identity theft affidavit. Here's this, here's that, here's the third. He touched everything
Mm-hmm.
except for those things. So it's like, well, I shouldn't say that. He cleaned up my credit profile, but those things are still on. And because they're on, like, my score just isn't as heavy as it could be, or my
Mm-hmm.
profile isn't as strong. So I started in November and I was like, this has been almost $1,000 and I'm not closer to where I was when I
Mm-hmm.
started. So if I'm going to fatten anyone's pockets, it's going to be mine. So I had to let him go. And right now I didn't let my trainer go, but right now he's definitely on pause as things have um, taken a priority of like really needing that one-on-one training. Like, I've been in the
Yeah.
gym long enough. I know what I could do. And then like just that time on a Sunday, I need that time back. And oh man, it's a win-win. It's a
Yeah.
win-win. I get the funds back, I get my time back. And then we could just reevaluate when the time comes.
Yeah, that's like at the end of the day, there has to be that type of check and balance
Yeah.
activity. Like, just as in any investment, you got to look at, short term, long term,
Mm-hmm.
how this is benefiting, these things are benefiting you. And if
Yeah.
they're not, sometimes you might have to let that shit go, like part ways with it. If it's not
Yeah.
working, it's not working.
So it's interesting, having said it out loud, when we first came back, season two, you made reference to the thing that people are saying, like, I have to let go of things that no longer serve me. And I was all like, shoot, like, what does that mean? It's all a trend. But then I started combing through stuff like,
Mhm.
mm, okay, dude, I hired you to take off a couple of things. Yes, you cleaned some things, all good and well. But truth be told, you touched things and my score dropped. I didn't want you to do that. I cleaned my own credit. These are just two things I can't get off. So you figure $130 a month, when I add in the cost of the service that I have to use for the credit monitoring for 6 months.
Mm.
No. And
Mhm.
to not be any closer to the goal that I have, and very respectful about it. I sent an email. I was like, hey, thank you for the work that you've done. I've reached the end of my budget for this project. Let's cancel. They
Mm.
responded. They were like, hey, you know what? Sorry to see you go so soon, but we have canceled the services. You definitely won't be billed anymore. We do recommend you keep the credit monitoring. Cool. Same thing with my trainer. I was like, hey, I got some things that came up that took off
Mhm.
sooner than I expected. I'll touch base with you after I come back from vacation or whenever I can. And he was like, yeah, just let me know when you're ready to rock and roll. It's like, okay, the mutual respect is there from both parties. It's nothing personal. It's just a shift of priorities. And it feels good. It
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one of the things that have come up is just really knowing your worth
Yeah.
and knowing that it starts it starts with me. It
Hmm.
starts with me. How I treat myself is how I set forth
Yeah.
how other people will
Yep.
treat me. And if I'm establishing healthy boundaries for myself and I know and I'm aware of, the things that um I'm aware of the things that set me off or make me upset or things that I need, then everything else kind of falls in place.
Yeah, it does.
I had some very interesting lessons where um I was talking to a friend of mine earlier in the week, venting about all of this stuff that, I'm experiencing. And I tend to be someone who, on occasion, has not really trusted my own intuition. Or and by when I say trusting my own intuition, it means like I'm second guessing, like I need a cosign of
Yeah.
some sort from an external source. And I don't know that she gave that to me, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that she basically reshifted that
Put that
and was like,
responsibility right back on you.
you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
the thing about it is that I'm grateful because at the end of the day, yeah, she's right. But it's like so many times it's really easy to, try to get some type of, or the desire to get outside perspective simply because I don't necessarily
Yeah.
trust what I know or trust myself. Is just kind of weird.
And you know what? Honestly, man, that is a really, really good friend to hear you out and
Yes,
then push that responsibility back on you, because once the
yes,
smoke clears, I don't want to be responsible for any decision a person makes, be it good or bad, other than myself.
yes. And it was just like I was at a loss for words
Yeah.
because I really received that part where it was just like, okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to listen.
Mhm.
I'm going to really take the time to understand where you are coming from. And then I'm going to let you know that I'm here for you, but
Yeah.
I'm also going to let you know that this is for you to figure out, and you will figure it out.
Yeah.
You will.
You
You will
will.
figure it out.
And that,
Um
I mean, wow, that I appreciate them for that.
yeah,
I re-
that's a friend. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's somebody who really is like and as women sometimes uh a lot of times we want to be problem solvers and
Mhm.
take the onus of saying, hey, I hear that you want me to. So, and I'm gonna speak for myself, I'm not even gonna say women in general, I'm
Right,
saying
right.
when sometimes I've had to learn over the years how to be supportive versus feeling the need to be reactive. Like, if someone's coming to me and they have a problem, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? Like there needs to be an action item
Right.
behind it. And we're resilient people and we are fully capable of figuring everything out that we need to figure out.
Everything.
We have everything that we need. And it sometimes it's just a matter of just needing to get some things off of our chest and having that reassurance and that in a friend that says, you got this.
Yeah.
It'll all come together. But
Yeah.
yes, it was just definitely a very insightful
Mhm.
week. Um, so I don't know. I was talking about just like my job, and I think that these last couple of weeks, it was just like, oh, I think we talked about working, like having to
Yeah.
work really hard and being tired and all of this stuff, right? So, um, I was, verbally offered a position, a higher position at work, right?
Let's
And
go.
and it's like, wow, that's dope. It's like real, it's surreal. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, so I sat here and I talked about how what I said was that if this isn't something that comes to me with
You
ease
did.
and essentially
Yeah.
seeks me out, and if I have to do anything that feels like I am stretching myself and feeling like I need to prove myself or prove my worth or prove why I'm worthy of it, then I don't want it.
Right.
I couldn't actually believe at the time that I was saying that because it was so opposite of what I had previously conditioned myself to believe.
Mhm.
And I think we talked about how, like we feel like, oh my gosh, we have to work extra hard. We have to prove ourselves or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked about that. But I know about this particular position. It was just like, if I have to do any of that, it is not for
Mhm.
me
Right.
and I do not want it.
Yeah.
The thing, it's not in alignment with what I desire. And
Mhm.
what I found myself doing was thinking about all the scenarios in which I may have to prove myself.
Yeah.
It hadn't happened. No one really actually said anything to bring me to that, but I started playing those things out in my mind like, okay, how hard am I going to have to work to prove myself? And for how long
Yeah.
before someone recognizes, before someone says, you know what? Okay, I was just really wearing myself out. And again, I had another friend who I was bouncing that idea off of and playing, all of these theoretical situations. And she was just like, Do you want this? Like, is this something that you want?
Because you
Just
couldn't
straight up,
tell by the
like,
story,
do
right?
do you want this?
Yeah,
And I was like, well, damn. I mean, I don't know. And I was saying I don't know because I was still making this
yeah,
association that in order to get to what I want, I have to work really hard and exhaust myself and do all of these things to get there. And it's like, yes, I want that, but I feel like I've done all that I can do to get there, that I don't know that I'm willing to compromise any more of myself to get there. Like, I feel like I've paid my dues, I've done
right.
all that I needed to do. And the thought of continuing to do more, that was the part that didn't resonate with me.
Yeah. You
It
know,
just didn't.
I didn't mean to
Hmm?
cut you off, but it's interesting because I thought about that statement a lot when you said it like, hey, if I have to do all that, then pretty much miss me with it, right?
Hmm.
And I couldn't help but think about the saying, I'll word it that way, that your gifts will make room for you.
Hmm.
So even though you worded it in terms of like your personal experience, it was saying the exact same thing. Like, listen, my gift is going to go in here because this room has been prepared for me already. And
Hmm.
I understand it's just a verbal. I am believing it to be so. And man, we are going to celebrate. You're going to buy me a ticket.
Yeah.
I'm going
Hey, look, look.
Oh man.
That was the most shocking part. It was just like, dang, I was really this is something I've been really calling to myself
Mhm.
in some roundabout way for for a while. And it's like, how is it that when it shows up,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, are you sure? Like
Yeah.
for real? Like what? You know?
Yeah.
And that brings me to what really came through as a theme for me this week.
Okay.
And that was to, in order to get to the things that you desire to manifest for yourself, it's not about working hard and exhausting yourself and stressing yourself out. It's not about external factors, external people. It's not about the things that you don't have. All it's really about is being specific
Very.
about what it is that you desire. It's about making the decision that it is what you desire. Like
Yeah.
what is it that you desire? Make a decision about that. And know that you are deserving of it.
Absolutely.
And you know what's so interesting was that there were a couple of things. It's so funny how spirit or messages show up
Mhm.
just in regular
Everyday
everyday
things.
encounters that
Yeah.
really don't have
Yeah.
anything to do with going, with what's you think they don't have anything to do with your current lesson. I'll call this a lesson.
Right.
This is I'm saying it's a theme, but it was really a lesson.
Mhm.
Um, so I had this client that, or like a vendor, we were just like, hey, things aren't working out and um just not really getting what I want. Like
So you firing people
I'm
too.
not we're not really getting it. Like
Yeah.
we feel like we've done everything we could do and we're not really happy.
Mhm.
And so his response was like, "Oh, wow, I totally it's unfortunate and we don't want you to feel this way. And, definitely we take ownership of, our part, but we can only take ownership of just a percentage of
Yeah.
that, probably about 90% is what we can take ownership of. But about 10%, I would say is not us.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of like, what you mean it's not? Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what you mean it's not you? And he's like, this is where I'm going to just say, as a friend and a colleague, that this is where it's important, just focus on, um, there's a need for specificity, like being specific about
Right.
what it is that you need. And I'm low key in my feelings, like, I definitely was very specific. Like, nothing has changed.
Hmm.
Nothing's changed about my desired outcome. Nothing has changed. And that was kind of like my introduction to someone saying, like, be specific. And because I don't really know you like that, you
Right.
don't know me like that, that shit wasn't received very well. It was just like,
Right.
be specific. I am being specific. And I'm just saying, this is a time to really ask yourself, are you
Hmm.
being specific?
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really easy to look at the external and
Hmm.
come up with all of these scenarios that don't include you.
Right.
Like, they really
Right.
don't involve you. And at the end of the day, it really is about just you and your
Yeah.
specificity. Like, how specific are you really being? If everything around you is yielding you something that you don't want, what's the
Hmm.
common denominator in that?
There you go.
Like,
You
what?
know that as I listened to you say that, I was reminded of when I do my focus board. Cause like
Mm,
my focus board and my calendar, it's just me, it's my desires. And for each line item, there are generally things underneath that line item. Like, okay, I need a new job by June 1st. And there's action items that I have to take. Okay, well,
mhm,
you're gonna apply for 2 jobs 2 days a week. And you're only gonna look at jobs that are an increase in pay. And you're like, I list everything out. This particular week when I did it, I sat down in my chair and I was like, oh shoot. Like there's no turning back now. There was even a line item where I was like, okay, what are you gonna do if they counter?
mm,
Like I think of everything, and that can be an uncomfortable transitional space, right? Like, what you're doing now isn't working.
mhm.
You know what you want, but then I had to ask myself, like, hey, what are you gonna do when you get it?
Mm,
How are you gonna feel? What plans do you have? What's your exit strategy? How are
yeah.
you planning on financing that in between of jobs? And I had an answer for everything. And I was like, there's no going back from this.
Yeah.
There's no going back from this. And I even thought about erasing it. I was like, oh man, because it
It's scary sometimes.
yeah, it's scary. It's like, hey, you know what? Going back to that saying, it's not serving me anymore.
Mhm.
I found myself in a weird transitional space on the job and in my personal life at the same time. I'm like, no, there's only one person that can control both of these situations, going back to the common denominator. And you got to be ready. You've got to
Yeah.
stay ready.
And I like how, you start thinking, like, you are thinking about, well, what's the feeling? What's it going to feel like when I get it?
Yeah. You
And
have
that's
to intend it to be
important.
so, right? You have to intend it to be so. That's
Yeah,
one of the
that's
things I
important.
learned.
And the thing about it is like, think about how good that feels. Well, I
Hmm.
would like to think that it feels good when it's just like, wow, if I can visualize and bring myself to feel the feelings that I desire to feel,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I want to stay in that place. I want to stay there
Right.
because that feels good and nothing else matters. Not even the how to get there
Mm-mm.
or any of that.
I'm already there.
Yeah.
So much so that, as you know, when I do my focus board, because I know a lot of you don't know it, I do want to share it publicly. When I do my focus board, as I list my goals, I also list what I'm going to reward myself with when everything come to pass. This particular set of focus board reward is a Sony mirrorless camera. So I went out today. I went pawn shopping. For those of you who followed us, you know I stay up in the pawn shops, and I saw a Sony mirrorless camera, the A6000. So it's an older model, and like I'm not a Benny Boom behind anybody's camera by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something that I want. And it was $450. I was like, nah, what we gonna do? Um, so he was like, all right, Shauna, it doesn't have a charger. The charger is only $18. So I'll sell it to you for $420. I was like, okay, cool. But I'm gonna put it on layaway. I don't want this to be super impulsive. I'm gonna put it on
Hmm.
layaway, and that'll give me time to really make up my mind. So I put it on layaway, and I started to, as I was leaving to go to the next pawn shop, um, I really had a great moment of reflection. Not only do I believe it to be so, that I will have a job, a different job, a higher paying job by June 1st, I've already rewarded myself for it.
Hmm.
Like there's no going back. Now, will anxiety kick in or all of those other feelings? Of course.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I see myself doing something different. And it's done. It's done.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
man, stay ready. Definitely stay ready. So, I'm looking forward to the next part of this conversation on your behalf, man. That's going to be exciting, and I cannot
Yeah.
wait to come and celebrate.
I'm excited too. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like, this is um it's so interesting how the timing happens. Like, it's just like a time of spring and new beginnings and new chapters and
Yeah.
new starts, and you know,
Oh yeah.
we'll
Oh
we're
man.
gonna we're gonna see, you
That
know.
the smile says it all. Like you the
Yeah, yeah,
smile
don't like
says it
I'm
all.
super, super grateful.
Yeah.
Um it's a very surreal thing to know that at the end of the day, it really just had to be about a decision of what I want
Yeah.
and knowing that I'm deserving. And I know I keep
Mhm.
like saying that. And a lot of time people that gets misused where it's like, oh, you deserve this and you deserve that and I'm
Yeah.
deserving and I'm this. And it's like, well, but the actions fall into alignment with the words and the affirmation, that's when the manifestations start to
Yeah.
happen.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I
So
was
I
saying one thing on the front end, like, oh, but I wasn't necessarily believing it to
yeah.
be so. But I
Oh
could
man.
not, for whatever reason. And there was one time I almost wrote something down on paper where I was just like, I'm not able to shake the feeling that I'm gonna have to do a whole lot of work to get
Yeah.
to where I want to be. And something internal was just like, why would you write that shit? Like, why would you write that?
Right.
It's not true.
Right.
It's not true. Don't write that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not going to write that because I don't really claim that for myself.
Yeah. And man, where did we learn that is the $1,000,000 question. Where did we learn that? I do have a question for you again. So, how did you how did you react when you got the news? Like, walk me through that.
Um, I mean, it was really unexpected. It was completely out of the blue. I was not at all aware of this. This is another thing, and I think you talk about this a lot, Shauna, where it's like you don't know what conversations are being had behind closed
No.
doors. You don't know
No.
who has your name in their mouth. These are things that you just don't know. And that's why, again, it's so important to know that you are deserving
Yeah.
and that you are deserving of the things that you desire.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you have to work hard or change or shift. In some cases, you do, but you
Right.
know when those times are. You know what those times are. And you know also when it's time to just sit and allow that which you desire to find you and come
Mm-hmm.
to you and meet you where you are without you doing anything. Anyway,
Right.
so that was just the environment. I was talking about one completely separate thing with my new boss, and that just happened to come up like, oh, while I have you type of thing. And it was just like,
Yeah.
wow. It was just like, and you know what's so funny was what he said was, I don't know that I ever asked you this, but do you want this position? And I was just like, yes. And I think that
Yeah.
was probably the first time that I had actually, gave a yes
Mm-hmm.
out of my mouth of like, it's always, it was like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm totally interested, but in the way that it was asked, like,
Right.
do you want this? And it's like, yes, absolutely.
Man,
And I'm sorry, what were you saying?
pretty much like, hey, it's yours to lose. And then I was gonna go into the foreshadowing clue. Earlier you said that your friend even was like, hey, look, do you want this or not? Type
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and a lot of times too is outside of thinking that there has to be some hard work involved or
Right.
to prove yourself, there's also like this feeling of, I think there's some feeling of
Yeah.
insecurity there,
Yeah.
or scarcity mindset, or whatever you want to say, whatever, however you want to look at it. But it's just thinking like, and comparison too, thinking about how other people may handle a similar situation, or not being smart enough, or not being experienced enough, or not having enough connections, or being too
Yeah.
concerned about not being enough.
Mm-hmm.
um and again, that's that part about exhausting the self to work really hard again to start over. But the one of the things too that I started doing, and this is like, I'm so grateful for Yanla's abundance
Yeah.
class, but like, one of the things that I became very clear about was that it's not about um money as much as it is about utilizing my skills and my
Mm-hmm.
gifts and my talents so that I'm not feeling exhausted all the time or
Right.
feeling like I'm being taken advantage of or not being appreciated or whatever those things are. Like
Yeah.
I feel good about what I'm doing.
Man, I really want to, I would really like to see when everything is finalized, right? Um, I really want to see great celebration from you. One thing that I noticed about myself, I am so supportive. I am so, oh man, if I even can tolerate you, I am your biggest fan. Only because what's yours is yours, right? There's no need for me to sit back and like, man, I will bells and whistle you to death. But when it comes down to people trying to celebrate me or even bless me with just anything that I could ask for, right? I
Mm,
tend to shy away from it. Like, oh no, 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 that's okay. Like I want to, I try to downplay it. Not this time. I'm not gonna do it. And I don't want you to do it either. Man, I want you to yell this thing out from the mountaintop and, like, really, really embrace it. Really
mm.
embrace it because you spoke it into existence, right? Man, celebrate yourself.
Why is that? That's so interesting that you say that because why do you think this is something common with us? Like we tend not to or shy away from celebrating ourselves and
Yeah,
our
I
accomplishments?
think it lines up with how you were saying, like, um, am I enough? Am I good enough? Can I do all of these things?
Mhm.
Um, I think that when we feel that we have to do all these things, work hard and all of those everything that come with that, right? To
Mhm.
feel deserving of something.
Mhm.
When we get what we quote unquote deserve, we go cold, right? We go
Mhm.
stiff. No, we celebrate that. What's the point of even feeling like we deserve it just to then tense up and be modest? I'm not doing that anymore. And again, I'm speaking mainly for myself, right?
Yeah.
With all the promotions that I have on my current job, and people, especially you, would be like, "Oh man, that's great! Congratulations! Let's do this, whatever, whatever." I'm like, "Oh no, it's cool. I've been here for a while." No, I'm not doing that anymore because the truth
Mhm.
of the matter is, I've already proven myself. So we're
Right.
going to celebrate me. We're going to celebrate the fact that I am now being recognized for the shit I've already done. I'm not
Right.
I'm
Right.
not downplaying. Man, I don't care if I go get a doom buggy. Do you know what a doom buggy is?
Yeah.
I don't care if I go get a rusted, cracked windshield doom buggy. Y'all better celebrate me. Um, I mean, we just really, that's one of the things I really love about my best friend. When something huge happened in her life, oh, you're going to know about it. And I used to be like, man, are we still talking about this? And I was wrong for that. We should
Mm,
have still been talking about that because that was huge for her. Like, just because
mhm.
I'm modest doesn't mean that she have to be. Like, I don't know what it took for her to get whatever celebratory thing it was,
Yeah,
right?
that's
I
just
don't know
it.
what, I don't know the pain associated with it, the prayers, the tears, the losses, any of that. So
Mhm.
who am I to give my little 2 minute of congratulations and then be like, all right, let's move on? I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore. We're going to stay right there until that feeling is no longer with you and we're going to celebrate. So during the
Yeah.
finalization, because it is going to happen, we're celebrating.
Yeah, across the board, right? Just it's really important to be celebratory, whatever it is.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's like we don't do that enough. I don't know. If I were to think about my immediate circle, yeah, we could definitely afford to celebrate some more for sure.
yeah. My aunt called. Well, she texted me. She didn't call, and she was like, um, I was talking to, and she said my cousin's name because she doesn't want to graduate from Cape Fear because the entire Cape Fear is graduating. Cape Fear is a community college in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Hmm.
And so my cousin was under the impression that the graduation was going to be just for like the cosmetology group. So she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." When she found out that it was the full blown graduation, she was like, "I'm not sitting down for that long graduation." Da 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 da. And so I told my aunt, I was like, "Listen, you need to talk to her.
Hmm.
You need to join me in talking to her because right now to this day, there are times when I regret. There are times when I regret not doing my graduation. Who
Hmm.
cares if it's an associate's degree? Whatever it is, celebrate yourself and allow other people to celebrate you." So I
Yeah.
reached out to my cousin and I'm like, and I asked her a question. I was like, "Hey, I hear that you're not going to celebrate because of the amount of time it's going to take." "Yeah, I can't do that. That mess is too long." Da 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 da. I said, "Hey, listen, your daughter needs to see you walk across that stage. I I need to see you walk across that stage. Coming from where we come from, you're
Hmm.
not just doing this for you. I need you to walk across that stage. Even if you don't, I'll still respect that. You still got your credentials." She went, and it's like a branch of the cosmetology, I think, where she focused mainly on doing facials and waxings and all that stuff. There's a name for it. I can't think of it at the moment. And I was like, that was a huge deal. Celebrate yourself.
Hmm.
I was like, if you're going to have to choose your regret, don't let it be the regret of not taking the walk. Let it be the regret that you had to sit there for 4 hours while they called out
Yeah.
everybody's name because your name is in the P's and I felt her. It's not even, by the time they get to the P's, half the stadium is gone. Um, but man, like I really, I caught myself wanting to beseech her, like, listen, if you don't do it for you, how awkward is that, right? Like, if you don't do it for you, do it for me. Do
Hmm.
not leave with the feeling of regret. Like, that was a huge accomplishment. And from what you're telling me, you're going to miss out on getting that experience for 4 hours. You're just going to waste 4 hours doing
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So I really hope that she does it. All of that to say, we really need to start celebrating ourselves a lot more.
Yeah, you know what? That reminds me of this one time in elementary school. I was in a play.
Wait,
Um, hmm,
my apology.
whatever. I
Oh
know it's
man.
like super random, but it just reminds me of this time that I should have celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was in this play. It was about the Egyptians or whatever, and there was this I had a solo in
Oh.
that play singing Alphabet Soup. That was a song. First of all, I think my grandma made me these silk genie pants. They were like
Mm.
fuchsia pink. They were cute as shit. I was very cute that day. And I was up on stage by myself and I was super nervous or whatever. And I did my little solo and I think they had taped it or something. And then like a couple um weeks later or something, they showed the tape in the classroom at
Mhm.
the school. And I just remember like leaving the room because I just didn't want to like see
Oh,
myself performing or anything like that. And so I
yeah.
left and someone else came out and I was like, "Did you see my part or whatever?" And they were just like, "Yeah, no." I was like, "Did they play Alphabet Soup or whatever?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, did you see me on there?" And the girl was just like, "No." And it was just she just walked off. I was just like,
Wow. Now see,
"Dang."
had you staged for yourself, you
Exactly.
you would
Show
have
up for
seen it.
yourself. Like, I
Right.
literally had to take that girl's word because I stepped out on myself. Like,
Mhm. And
now I
now
got
you'll
to go
never
off
know.
this hater. Like, I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. Who knows?
Mhm.
I'm calling her a hater because I'm mad at myself, really. Like,
Right. So you're just going to blame the next person. It's okay. We do it.
exactly. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's just it's like looking for myself in other
And other
people.
people. Damn.
Like I'm looking for the validate how I'm gonna get validation from somebody and I can't give it to myself.
Mhm.
How am I gonna seek the approval and the you know like like desire of other people if I can't approve of myself? Like
Man,
that's
listen. This,
crazy.
this is so left field, but it's so right. As a 40-year-old woman now, like back in the 80s when Man in the Mirror was a great song, that's all it was. Like it was Michael Jackson, it was a great song. I'm starting with the Man in the Mirror, like, oh yeah, boom, boom. I'm kicking my leg and everything. As a
Okay,
as a
then you
40
really
year
doing that.
old woman, those lyrics are powerful.
Yeah.
I'm starting with the Man in the Mirror, and I'm asking him to change his way. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the word. Listen, I say it jokingly, but at my age now, that was more than just a good song to vibe to.
Yeah,
There,
right.
and no pun intended, but that was a great message. And then, especially at the end, and he was like, "That's why I want you to know." I'm starting with the Man in the Mirror now. Whether that was his case or not, who knows? But man, listen. If you remember, listen to that song as an adult right now today.
Don't forget that. Make that
Completely.
change. Like, it's okay. Make that change. You could do it.
Oh shoot! I forgot we on camera. I'm all over. Yeah, but it's like things have been there the entire time, and I know I always be like, oh well, I don't listen to the words. I just like the beats. Well, that wasn't true for starters, but
Mhm.
now, man, that was a good song
Yeah.
and a very very great reminder of who we need to start with when we want to make a change. It's always that man being mankind, um, in the mirror.
Mm.
That's what I want you to know. Oh
It's
man.
true.
So listen, have you supported any black businesses this week?
You know, I had to sit here
Don't
and
hurt
think.
yourself.
Like,
I mean,
I really haven't. No, I haven't um purchased anything. I'm like, what have I purchased for my what have I purchased? I haven't. Um,
I got some lock oil from a lovely hair design.
okay.
Listen, it was so dope. So Um, I went to the website and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I want to try this. Placed my order and everything. I received my receipt through my phone. Well, the invoice through my
Mhm,
phone, and I paid it.
mhm.
About within that same hour, I got a text and they were like, "Hey, your delivery driver will be there by 10:30 with, the product." I was like,
Delivery driver?
"Yes,
Wow, she is doing it.
I
What's the
bought
website?
I believe that it is truly a lovely hair design, but I was floored. I was
Wow.
absolutely floored. Um, because I was supposed to be getting my hair retwisted tomorrow, and I was like, "Oh, well, I won't be able to use the product, but I still want to appreciate, support." Sorry, I was reading
Mhm.
that text. I cannot get to the website now, but I truly believe it's lovelyhairdesign.com.
Alright,
Um,
we'll put it in the,
so,
comments.
huh?
So we can put it in the comments.
Okay, yeah, the delivery driver, she showed up. She was like, "Hey, this is who I am. I'm outside of your building. Like, do you want to come down? Do you want me to come
What?
up?" So I went down and met her, and it was all bagged up, and I was like, "Hold on now. If I was actively getting my hair done at that moment, y'all would have just brought me what I needed." Listen, game changer. So
Okay.
huge shout out to a lovely hair design here in Denver, Colorado. Again, we'll add the website, but that was just like, oh, that's
Dang.
customer, man. It was great. It was great. And now, of course, if you're out of state, you can't get the delivery service that I got, but
Mhm.
you definitely can. You can have the product shipped to you and check it out.
Wow.
Yeah, check it out.
That's dope.
Yeah. So we are. I'm sorry. Did you have anything else? I think we should get on up out of here.
No, I thank you for celebrating me this evening and
Absolutely.
bringing that up because it's just something to really think about, and yeah, that's thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Listen, I don't know when it's going to be. I know I'm about to do a little traveling. I believe you are as well.
Mhm.
But this is going to happen. And I think I even agreed with you a couple months back. I was like, when it happens, I'm coming and I'm going to celebrate
Yeah.
with you. I am a woman of my word. I'm going to Nando's Peri Peri. I'll get you some hush puppies and some fries. Um, but listen,
Armando.
it is honestly, man, just a complete blessing and joy to
Mhm.
be in a circle of what you're about to experience. And I'm just so glad to be able to witness it. We're going to celebrate you like never before. I don't know how yet, but we're going to do it.
Oh,
We're
thank
going to
you,
do it.
cousin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Man, so you all please have a great, prosperous week. Just an abundant week. Um, man, and remember this week, find something to celebrate yourself for.
Yes.
Big
Oh,
or small, it doesn't matter.
can
Huh?
I pull a card?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Do that. Do that.
Okay,
Wait,
so
are they
I'm gonna
shuffled?
okay, yeah, you ready for this shuffle? Okay, this is from the Unshakable Inner Peace deck. I think this is what we read from last time, where I
That's
had
okay.
took
I actually got
courage.
feedback from the cards. I don't know if I told you or not.
What'd you say?
I actually got feedback from the cards. I don't know if I told you or not, but people really like when you pull those cards because for whatever the reason, it has touched on things that they've been going through. So
Mm,
I guess I'll just mind my business, let you shuffle in
it's the
peace, and
shuffle. You're welcome. So, we're talking about celebrating the self. And, what better time to do it during Aries season, which is the self, the character, the identity. And, that one just kind of jumped out. Let's see what is. Girl, I can't make this up. I can't even make it up.
Show it. Show it.
Okay, so this, I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's basically just a big moon and someone standing on the road, a split road. Notice it's divided in half. It's a rocky path, and you
Mm-hmm.
on one side of that rocky path, and you kind of looking at.
Back it up just a little.
I'm gonna back it up
Okay.
just a little bit, but you see in this image, it's like you are looking at all of this like terrain. It's rocky
Possibilities
roads, it's desert, but what you see on the other side of that is so beautiful and so fascinating. And it's like, how the hell am I going to get from where I'm standing here on this road
to over
here
there.
and gonna get all the way over there? Like, what? How am I going to do that? Okay, so what it says is you are the image maker. What you focus on manifests. What thought pattern do you need to shift? All right, so what thought pattern do you need to make? What thought pattern do you need to shift?
Girl, I am looking for something to write to write this down.
Okay? All right. You are the image maker. What you focus on manifests. What have you been focusing your attention on? Take a mental inventory of your current situation. What is causing you the most frustration? Now, assess your thoughts about that situation. Chances are your thoughts have been focusing on it too. We always get what we focus on. It is law.
Mm.
You may say you want more money, but you focus on how you don't have enough. Or you want to find true love, but you secretly feel unworthy of love. Or maybe you want to get healthy and lose weight, but you say unkind things to yourself in the mirror. You may have every intention in the world to move forward, but if your thoughts aren't aligned with your actions, your efforts will be muted. You will always get what you focus on. Thoughts overtake action every time, so use this time to realign your thoughts with your true intentions. When you focus on the things you want with ease, no mental barriers will hold up the manifestation process. Believe and trust that what you want is on its way to you. Focus your attention on the outcome you desire most.
I'm gonna cry when this camera stop.
Girl,
I might
okay.
not even make it that long. Wow.
So, okay, so this says a divine assignment. If you focus on what you don't want, you will get more of it. Use the law of attraction as a mirror of your own mindset and self-worth. You are always experiencing the outcome of your previous thoughts and the decisions you made in the past. If what you experience is not pleasing, shift your thoughts.
Mm.
As you do this, you change your outcome. Start by being aware of the thoughts that are not a vibrational match to your ultimate desire. Then shift your focus to what you want and how you want to feel. Each and every moment you can realign and refocus your attention on what you want. You have the ability to attract more enjoyable circumstances. It starts with your thoughts. Y'all,
Girl, I am
you can't make it
sitting
up.
here. I am sitting here thinking about those days in Pinhook, the small, very small area I grew up in, sitting on that picnic tree wondering how in the hell I was going to make it out.
Okay.
And now, and now I get to go back and visit when I want to. I we might need to go ahead and stop these cameras because
Okay. And the thing
man,
about it is, it doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters. Like, if you really had worked out every nook and cranny of how you were going to get to there, to that other side, you would have gave up.
listen, I'm so focused and I'm so intentional right now, and y'all know that that is my go-to word. I thought intentional was my word of 2021. Look like I brought it over here on this side of these 2022s. But when you held up the card, I said, "Wow, look at all those possibilities." Did you hear me when I said that?
Mm-mm.
I didn't see obstacles. I saw possibilities. That's huge for me.
Yeah.
When I was sitting on that pinhook, man, me and my cousin Dante, I feel comfortable calling his name. He's not gonna listen. Um, but me and my cousin Dante, man, we would sit on that picnic table. He would help me study for um like my test and everything. And oh man,
Mm.
we would always dream of how we were gonna make it out. Neither one of us live in Pinhook now. Neither
Yeah.
one of us. And I'm 8 years his senior, but it doesn't matter. We were down there and we were dreaming together, and neither
Mhm.
one of us live there now.
Hey,
Oh
what you
man.
focus
Matter of
on
fact,
will
you still owe me a
manifest.
Chrysler 300M. I ain't forgot.
Girl, that's the first. Listen, I'm gonna still get you one too. We used to talk about. We have talked about so many things and
Look,
called so many things, and
when
they're on the way. You know what I mean? Like,
when we think of us,
okay.
we've
No,
we've
seriously, when we
had
think of us, if you were to think about to the beginning before, how many episodes did we record before we even thought to put it on anybody's platform?
yeah, yeah. Listen, and so now one day I was at work. And I Googled, I just had a hunch. I Googled when we think of us, and the biggest smile consumed me because it's like, hey, when we think of us, the Women in Power podcast on these
Mhm.
following platforms. And I was like, hmm, never in a million years. We used to go bet on dogs for crying out loud. And now,
Oh my god, girl.
oh man, but that's just it though. Captivity of the physical is one thing. But when your mind is in captivity, that's a completely different thing. So
Mhm.
that's why I love watching kids grow up because their imagination is keen. There's no limit to it,
Yeah.
none whatsoever. So much so that I still do cooking shows. I'm not lying. I've said it on a previous I've said it on a previous show.
For
Like
real?
I refuse to get rid of my imagination. It's not gonna happen.
I
It's
love a
not gonna
good
happen.
imaginary cooking show myself.
See, see, because sometime during this year, um, man, a great storyteller, motivational speaker by the name of Henry Kellum is going to join us, and his story is phenomenal.
Mm.
His tagline is from dirt road to rodeo. And he himself grew up down a dirt road. All he had was his mind. I mean, whew, man, we got some
Mhm.
good stuff in store this year. I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right, y'all. I mean, yeah. I don't even have nothing else to say.
Right.
I'm still
Yeah, that card was a turning point for sure.
I'm still
So
trying.
listen, please, man, celebrate yourself this week. Man, have a peaceful, very peaceful week. And do something good for yourself if you're able to.
Yes, y'all. All right. Until next time. Bless up, y'all. Peace.